Welcome to our channel. Do you have a state quarter in your collection worth a small fortune? You might be sitting on a treasure without even knowing it. Some of these coins have become rare collector's items that could change your financial future. Let's reveal the most sought-after state quarters that could make you rich. You might want to check your change after watching this video. Because somewhere out there, hiding in plain sight, is a small silver coin worth more than most people's cars. And yes, it's real. A 2001 Kentucky state quarter, the kind you might have used in a vending machine or tossed into a tip jar without thinking twice, was recently sold for $55,000. This is the true story of that coin that wasn't found in a museum or a vault. It wasn't locked away in some collector's climate-controlled safe. No, it was buried in the most ordinary place imaginable, a plastic bin at a small-town coin show, the kind of event held in a quiet school gymnasium, where the air smells like coffee and old cardboard, and collectors move from table to table with magnifying glasses hanging around their necks. The man who found it wasn't looking for treasure. He wasn't rich or famous. Just a lifelong coin enthusiast with sharp eyes and sharper instincts. As he sifted through a cluttered tray of quarters labeled $1 each, he almost skipped over it. It looked ordinary. The usual Kentucky design, the stately mansion, the thoroughbred horse, the familiar words "my old Kentucky home." The same design minted into circulation hundreds of millions of times, but something stopped him. A glint, maybe. A strange luster. A tiny detail his trained eye couldn't ignore. He picked it up and tilted it toward the light. His pulse quickened. The strike wasn't normal. The image sat slightly off-center. The edges were just a hair misaligned, but clean, not damaged, not worn. This was a mint-made error, the kind that escapes unnoticed in a sea of routine strikes. The coin's surface had an odd shimmer, almost silky, as though it had never been touched by human hands. Under magnification, he saw something even more exciting, a dramatic die clash. Ghost-like shapes from the obverse appeared faintly on the reverse, the result of the dies striking each other without a coin between them. It was a clash so distinct, you could see the outline of Washington's chin near the edge of the horse. This wasn't an ordinary quarter. This was an error coin, and not just any error. A rare die clash, minted early and preserved in nearly flawless condition. Still, it was just $1. He bought it without hesitation. Later, the coin was sent for grading, submitted to a major grading service with cautious optimism. Weeks passed. Then the results came in. MS-68. That grade meant the coin was nearly perfect, no visible marks, no dullness, no damage from circulation. A gem among millions. And with the clash error, it became something far more than a fluke. According to the grading population at the time, only a few Kentucky quarters had ever achieved that grade. But none had the same error signature. This one stood alone. Collectors took notice. Fast. The coin went up for auction quietly, but the buzz spread quickly. Within days, seasoned collectors, dealers, and private investors were circling. The bidding started slow, then picked up speed like a racehorse in the final stretch. 1,000. Then 5.10. The number climbed with every refresh of the auction page. Coin forums lit up. Some thought it might stall around 20,000. But then two serious bidders took over, both anonymous, both clearly determined to win. The final moments were intense. Phone calls. Rapid-fire bids. A silence. Then, the final blow. $55,000, the virtual gavel dropped, and just like that, a quarter that once sat in a discount bin had become one of the most valuable state quarters ever sold. Let that sink in. A coin minted by the millions. A coin meant for soda machines and gas stations. A coin you've probably had in your hands without ever thinking twice. All it took was one collector who paid attention. One person who paused for half a second, looked closer, and saw what no one else did. And now, here's the question that matters most. How many more are out there? Could there be another Kentucky quarter with a similar die clash, hiding in a box, a drawer, or a forgotten coin jar? Could there be one in your pocket right now, quietly waiting for someone with the patience to turn it over and take a second look? Because that's the thrill of coin collecting. You never really know what's hiding in plain sight until someone sees it for what it truly is. So the next time you're handed a quarter with a horse and a mansion on the back, don't just drop it in your change jar. Turn it over. Look at the edges. Hold it up to the light. Because it might not just be change. It might be a story. A moment in history. A quiet masterpiece, and if you're lucky, it might just be worth $55,000. Top 2, now we head north, to the windswept plains, the ancient cliffs, and the wide skies of a state many overlook, but whose quarter left collectors stunned. The year was 2006. Most people didn't think twice about the coins in their pocket. Gas was climbing past $3 a gallon. Smartphones were still years away from taking over the world. And in the middle of it all, another state quarter quietly entered circulation. One that would later send shockwaves through the collecting world, the North Dakota state quarter. At a glance, it didn't look any different than the others. Same size. Same weight. Same face of George Washington on the front, just like every other quarter since 1932. But the back, the reverse, told a different story. One that whispered of history, wilderness, and survival. 2 American bison, standing tall in the foreground. Behind them, a jagged cliff line cuts across the horizon. The land is vast and wild. The scene is silent, but it speaks volumes. It's a design that doesn't brag. It just stands there, sturdy, proud, and untouched. Exactly like North Dakota itself, millions of these coins were made. Over 244 million struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Over 265 million in Denver. And a few million proof versions minted in San Francisco, mirror-shined, pristine, sealed in collector's sets. To most people, this was just another coin to spend at the gas station or drop into a coin jar. But among the hundreds of millions, there was one. One coin that would change the conversation entirely. It showed up quietly, the way rare coins often do. Not in the hands of a dealer or inside a velvet-lined case, but in a sealed mint roll, purchased online from a retired collector's estate. The roll was unopened. Clean. Heavy in the hand. But one coin inside would end up breaking records. It was pulled from the roll with gloves. No smudges, no scratches. From the moment it saw daylight, it was clear this quarter was different. The luster wasn't just strong, it was dazzling. The details of the bison were razor-sharp. The surface glowed under light. It looked untouched by time, unbothered by the years it had been sealed away. Then came the closer look. A faint ghost image, barely visible at first, appeared behind the right bison. It wasn't supposed to be there. But to a trained eye, it was unmistakable. A die clash. A rare type of minting error that happens when the stamping dies strike each other without a coin between them. It leaves behind scars. Shadows. Imprints. On this quarter, it created a gentle, almost artistic overlay, the chin of Washington, curved and faint, hovering on the reverse. A quiet collision between the front and back of the coin. What made this even more unbelievable was its condition. The coin was flawless. Not a ding, not a fingerprint. The sort of coin that even major grading services see only a few times a decade. It was submitted to PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, with high hopes. Even then, the collector wasn't expecting the result. Mint state 69.1 grade away from perfection. Now, MS 69 is rare for any coin. But for a circulating state quarter, with a die clash error, no signs of wear, no damage from contact with other coins, it's almost unheard of. There were no other known North Dakota quarters with the same combination of condition and mint error. This was, without question, one of a kind. Word spread fast. Auction houses called. Private collectors sent quiet emails. And eventually, the coin found its way to the spotlight, not on eBay, not in a flea market, but at a private auction where the serious players show up. The room was quiet. The bids weren't shouted, they were submitted. Slowly. Confidently. 5,000. Then 10. The coin's image circulated in whispers across collector forums. People couldn't believe it. Some called it a freak find. Others said it was the most beautiful die clash on a state quarter they'd ever seen. 20,000. Then 30.by now, the coin wasn't just rare. It was legendary. When the final bid came in, no one expected the number. $48,000, for a single quarter. Let that settle in for a moment. The coin you might have used to pay for a coffee. The one you dropped in a parking meter or left sitting in your glove compartment. That exact coin, in the right condition, with the right error, at the right time, sold for more than a brand new car. And here's the part that keeps collectors up at night. No one knows how many more are out there. That die clash. It may have lasted a few hundred strikes before the mint corrected it. Maybe more. Or maybe that coin really was a once-in-a-generation accident. A perfect storm of timing, preservation, and unnoticed beauty. It's possible a few more were struck, and ended up in someone's change, unnoticed. Or maybe lost forever. The truth is, most people don't look closely at their coins. But collectors know something most people don't. That sometimes, the most valuable things in life aren't locked behind vault doors or printed on stock certificates. Sometimes, they're already in your hand. So if you've got a North Dakota quarter sitting in a drawer or hiding in a piggy bank, don't assume it's just 25 cents. Look closely. Turn it under the light. Look for crisp detail, off-center images, ghostly impressions, or the shine of an uncirculated surface. And if it looks like something you've never seen before, get it checked, because the next $48,000 coin might not be buried in a vault or sealed in plastic. That it might be sitting in the palm of your hand. Top 3. Some coins don't shout. They don't grab your attention immediately. They move quietly, almost like a whisper, blending in with the others, until, one day, you stop and realize what's been right in front of you all along. That's exactly how the 2008 Oklahoma State quarter slipped through millions of hands unnoticed, a coin so ordinary, yet so extraordinary, that it became the stuff of legend in the numismatic world. What seemed like just another quarter ended up being something rare and coveted. When the Oklahoma quarter was released, it didn't cause any big headlines. People weren't lining up at the mint to grab it. It didn't boast a famous monument or a historic event, but it did tell a story. And that story was captured in the design, the scissor-tailed flycatcher soaring through the skies above a field of Indian blanket wildflowers. It's a peaceful scene. The bird in mid-flight, its long, delicate tail feathers flowing behind it like a ribbon carried by the wind. Below, the flowers bloom, a stunning contrast to the rugged, open plains. It's a design that perfectly captures the essence of Oklahoma, its landscape, and its wildlife. But what truly set this quarter apart wasn't just its beautiful imagery, it was its hidden potential. Over 400 million Oklahoma quarters were struck between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. They were scattered everywhere, in your change, in vending machines, in the bottom of your car's cup holder. Most of them would end up in wallets, piggy banks, or lost in the cracks of everyday life. But there was one quarter, just one, that was different. That it wasn't discovered in a fancy auction house. It wasn't carefully preserved in a collector's cabinet. It was found by a casual coin collector going through some old, unsearched rolls. These rolls, purchased from an estate sale, had been untouched for years. The coins inside were regular, run-of-the-mill state quarters. But one, just one, stood out. As the collector picked it up, he immediately noticed something odd. It looked perfect. A flawless finish. The bird seemed to fly off the coin's surface, so crisp was the detail. The wildflowers, too, were sharply defined, almost like they were pressed into the metal with care. But it wasn't the detail that caught his eye, it was the edge. There, on the bottom of the coin, was a subtle curve, a faint but unmistakable flaw in the shape of the quarter. At first, it looked like a minor imperfection, a little nick. But as he looked closer, he realized it was something much rarer, a clipped planchet. This error happens when the metal blank, or planchet, is miscut before it struck with the design. And that subtle flaw, that missing piece, had allowed this coin to slip by undetected. What made this even more unbelievable was the condition of the coin. It was flawless. No scratches. No fingerprints. The coin appeared as though it had just been minted. It had been preserved in near-perfect condition, an almost untouched example of numismatic beauty. Eager to know its value, the collector sent it off to be graded. He wasn't expecting much. After all, errors like these weren't common, but neither were they especially valuable, not unless they had the right combination of rarity and condition. Then came the grading result, Mint State 69. That was it. That was the magic number. Mint State 69 is one of the highest grades a coin can achieve, with only a very select few coins ever earning that designation. To have a clipped planchet error and still achieve a near-perfect grade is unheard of. It's almost like winning the lottery for collectors, and then the offers started coming in. At first, they were modest. But as more collectors learned about the coin, and its unique combination of error and condition, the stakes grew higher. This was no longer just a nice quarter. This was a one-of-a-kind treasure. Eventually, the coin made its way to a private auction. Serious collectors knew what they were looking at. The bidding was quiet at first, only a few seasoned collectors, no doubt hoping to snag a rare gem without too much competition. But then, the bids started climbing. 10,000. Then 20. 30. The bids grew rapidly, each one pushing the price higher, as collectors knew they were witnessing history. By the time the hammer finally dropped, the coin had shattered expectations. $45,000, for a single quarter. It's staggering when you stop to think about it. A coin that most people would overlook in their pocket, in their change jar, or at the bottom of a parking meter was sold for a price that could buy a brand new car. It's a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, rarity and beauty come together in unexpected ways, but what makes this story even more remarkable is how close it came to being lost forever. The coin could have been spent. It could have been tossed into a fountain, or dropped at a store. It could have been buried beneath piles of receipts or forgotten in a drawer. Yet, it survived, and now, that coin sits in a private collection, locked away, a stunning example of how the smallest details can carry the greatest value. It proves that sometimes, the most valuable things are the ones you don't expect, and that the right combination of circumstances can turn an ordinary moment into something extraordinary. So the next time you hold a quarter in your hand, don't just see a coin. Look at the design. Look at the edges. Study the details. Because you might be holding more than just 25 cents. You might be holding a piece of history, a rare treasure that could be worth far more than you ever imagined, and who knows? The next $45,000 quarter might be sitting in your pocket right now, just waiting to be discovered. Top 4. The 2013 Mount Rushmore quarter is a coin that captures the essence of American pride. Carved into the Black Hills of South Dakota, the iconic faces of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln look out over the land, representing the foundations of the United States. The design on the quarter encapsulates this spirit, grand and timeless, as if it was always destined to be preserved in this way. Yet, what many don't realize is that within the mass production of these quarters, there's one that quietly stands out, hidden in plain sight. Released in 2013 as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, this particular coin was produced with millions of others, but it wasn't just the imagery that made this one special. The Mount Rushmore quarter carried an unexpected legacy of value, becoming one of the most coveted errors of its time. At first glance, this quarter appears like any other, a shining tribute to one of the nation's most beloved landmarks, complete with the familiar granite faces of the 4 presidents. The detail is sharp and clear, capturing the strength and resolve of the figures. It's a fitting tribute to the monument's own incredible history. However, hidden beneath the seemingly flawless surface lies the truth. The coin was not quite as perfect as it appeared. In the world of numismatics, there are few things as sought after as a mint error, those subtle imperfections that slip through the cracks of the minting process. And among these, one error became a coveted prize for collectors, the double die error. While most coins are stamped once, with careful precision, a double die error occurs when the die strikes the coin more than once. This results in a coin that seems to have a blurry, doubled appearance in the details, a rare but beautiful mistake. The 2013 Mount Rushmore quarter, with its majestic presidential faces, was struck with just such an error. It was not just a mistake, but a mistake with a story, a piece of history that didn't belong to the millions of ordinary coins that flooded the market. Instead, it was an anomaly, an artifact born out of imperfection but preserved in time. As news of the double die error spread, it began to pique the interest of collectors and dealers alike. There was something about this coin that couldn't be ignored. Its striking design, combined with the rare minting mistake, made it irresistible. But finding these error coins wasn't easy. Like all rare mistakes, they were few and far between. Out of the countless Mount Rushmore quarters released, only a small handful exhibited the double die error. When these rare finds began to surface, they commanded attention. Serious collectors knew that the value of these coins could soar, especially given the importance of the Mount Rushmore design and the rarity of such minting imperfections. As demand grew, so did the price. The initial discovery of these coins shocked many in the numismatic world. People who had casually purchased rolls of quarters began to realize they were holding something much more valuable than they had thought. With the coin's value rising by the day, it wasn't long before the best examples of the double die error Mount Rushmore quarters were sent off for professional grading, and when the coins came back from grading, the results were astounding. Some of these error coins were awarded a high grade of MS-67, one of the highest grades a coin can receive, indicating that they were almost flawless in their appearance, with only the slightest imperfections. Given that this particular coin had come from circulation and had been part of ordinary transactions, finding one in such pristine condition made it a true rarity. It didn't take long before these coins began to sell for impressive prices. A typical quarter might be worth 25 cents, but these extraordinary examples were worth much more. The most prized Mount Rushmore quarters with the double die error have reached as much as $29,000. So, what makes this Mount Rushmore quarter worth so much? It's not just the design or the historical significance of the monument. It's the rarity of the mint error, a subtle but unmistakable flaw that has transformed this coin into a true collector's treasure. The story of the 2013 Mount Rushmore quarter is a reminder of how even the smallest mistakes can hold immense value. It's a lesson in how something seemingly ordinary, like a coin, can hold a hidden beauty, a story of its own, and a price tag far beyond its intended worth. For collectors, this coin is a symbol of perseverance. Like the presidents carved into Mount Rushmore, this quarter overcame its imperfection to become something far greater than anyone could have expected. It's a coin that represents the spirit of discovery, of finding treasure where you least expect it. Next time you hold a quarter in your hand, consider this: there's no such thing as an ordinary coin. Behind every design, every edge, and every detail lies the potential for something extraordinary. The 2013 Mount Rushmore quarter proves that perfectly. A small mistake, a double die error, turned this coin into an incredible piece of numismatic history, and that's why today, it's worth $29,000, a number that reflects not just the rarity of the coin, but the story it tells. From the faces carved into the mountain to the unique flaw that changed everything, this quarter is a true masterpiece in the world of American coinage. Top 5. The year 2016 marked the release of a truly captivating coin, one that would forever stand out in the world of numismatics, the Harper Ferry coin. While many coins simply represent history or art, this quarter tells a unique story of discovery, craftsmanship, and extraordinary rarity that makes it a coveted piece for serious collectors. It's a coin that embodies the best of what American coinage can be: simple, yet meaningful; ordinary, yet with extraordinary potential. When we think of coins, we often think about the details we can see right in front of us: the design, the figures, the words that mark the coin's history. But sometimes, the real story lies in the unknown, in what most people overlook. The Harper Ferry coin represents just that, a coin that most would have dismissed as another routine piece of currency, but which, unbeknownst to the general public, would soon become one of the most prized pieces of numismatic history. The Harper Ferry coin was issued as part of the U.S. Mint's continuing effort to celebrate the diverse history and culture of the United States. However, it wasn't the typical release in a state quarter series. This one was part of a special commemorative program that celebrated a historically significant event. The coin's design itself doesn't shout for attention. There's no grand monument or famed historical figure on the front. Instead, the design celebrates the small, the hidden, and the quiet moments in America's past, moments that would otherwise go unnoticed in the grand narrative of history. At first glance, the Harper Ferry coin appeared to be just another in a long line of state quarters. Released with all the fanfare of any typical coin, it was expected to circulate quickly, eventually finding its way into coin jars, daily transactions, or even tossed aside as mere change. And that's exactly what happened. At first, most of these coins were spent without a second thought. They were designed and minted for everyday use, not necessarily with a collector's eye for perfection. However, hidden within these seemingly ordinary coins was something extraordinary. The Harper Ferry coin became a subject of interest when a small number of them, quietly slipped into circulation, revealed a very specific and rare minting error. This error, a misaligned die, was subtle at first, but it caught the eye of a seasoned numismatist who was carefully examining a roll of these newly minted coins. A misaligned die means that the coin was struck in such a way that the design was off-center, creating a distinct, imperfect image that made it unlike any other quarter produced in the same year. Such errors are highly coveted in the world of coin collecting, especially when they are as subtle and unique as the misalignment seen in these coins. But what really made the Harper Ferry coin stand out was the combination of its rarity and its historical relevance. Most of the misaligned die errors are minor, often going unnoticed. But this coin stood out because of the specific misalignment and the precise, almost artistic nature of the flaw. The design was still recognizable, but the positioning was off in a way that made it distinct, almost like a piece of abstract art. In the months following its release, coin collectors began to search for this specific error. At first, it was a few scattered reports. Someone found one in a roll, someone else spotted it in their change. Then, the story started to spread, with collectors and dealers rushing to find these rare coins. What started as a few casual mentions quickly turned into a frenzy, as numismatists realized that these coins, though small in number, held far greater value than their face value of 25 cents. The combination of the misalignment and the design's elegance was like a treasure hidden in plain sight, but like all rare coins, the true value of the Harper Ferry coin came only after it was graded. Most coins are sent to professional grading companies, like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, to assess their condition and authenticity. The coins that were found in pristine condition, with no other flaws beyond the misalignment, received the highest grades. These coins, the very best of the bunch, were graded at MS 67, an incredible feat for a coin that wasn't initially designed to be a collector's piece. With each coin that was graded, the price began to rise. Collectors who were aware of the rarity of the Harper Ferry coin were willing to pay top dollar for one in excellent condition. The appeal wasn't just in the misalignment, it was the fact that this coin told a story of how something seemingly small and unnoticed could become one of the most valuable pieces of American numismatics. As more coins were graded and auctioned off, the value of the Harper Ferry coin began to skyrocket. Some coins fetched prices of $10,000, impressive, but still not the highest sum it could reach. Over time, as more collectors sought out these elusive coins, the price continued to climb, pushing the value of one Harper Ferry coin to an astonishing $25,000. How did this happen? Why would such a seemingly simple coin command such a price? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, historical context, and the uniqueness of the minting era. It wasn't just about the coin itself, it was the story it told. How a simple mistake in the minting process resulted in one of the most valuable errors of its time. For many collectors, this coin represents the thrill of the chase, the excitement of finding something valuable in the most unexpected places. The Harper Ferry coin tells a tale of discovery, of how a small flaw can transform an everyday object into something priceless, and that's the heart of numismatics, seeing value where others see only the ordinary. For some, the Harper Ferry coin is a reminder of how even the smallest imperfection can lead to something remarkable, a testament to the fact that beauty and value can often be found in the most unexpected of places. Top 6. As we journey through the world of rare and valuable coins, we now arrive at the 2019 American Memorial Park Quarter, a coin that holds a special place in the hearts of many. Released as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, this coin stands as a tribute to one of the most significant memorial sites in the United States, the American Memorial Park, located in the Northern Mariana Islands. The American Memorial Park was established to honor the lives lost during the Battle of Saipan in World War II, a conflict that shaped the history of the Pacific region. For decades, the memorial has served as a place of reflection, remembrance, and gratitude, drawing visitors from around the world who come to pay their respects. So when the U.S. Mint decided to feature this memorial on a coin, it wasn't just a matter of choosing a place to represent on a quarter. It was about honoring a deep, historical legacy, about paying tribute to the sacrifices made by those who fought and died for freedom. Released in 2019, this coin is part of the final set in the America the Beautiful Quarter series, which aimed to commemorate national parks, monuments, and historic sites across the country. While each coin in this series had its own significance, the American Memorial Park coin stands apart because of its emotional and historical weight. It wasn't just another coin, it was a symbol of a nation's gratitude, a reflection of the sacrifices made by soldiers in one of the most intense theaters of World War II. The design of the 2019 American Memorial Park quarter is a work of art in itself. The obverse of the coin carries the usual imagery we associate with American quarters: George Washington, the first president, in his familiar, dignified pose. But it's the reverse of the coin where the true story is told. The reverse features the American Memorial Park's beautiful, serene landscape. In the foreground, we see a depiction of the park's flag, symbolizing the American spirit, fluttering gently in the breeze. Behind it, the towering peaks of the park rise majestically, standing as silent sentinels to the history that took place on these very grounds. And at the base of the scene, a delicate inscription reads, "American Memorial Park," reminding us of the sacrifice and bravery that this park memorializes. This imagery was not selected lightly. The artist who designed the reverse of the coin, Michael Gaudioso, carefully captured the essence of this place, its quiet beauty and the immense weight of the history it represents. Every line, every curve of the design speaks to the solemn nature of the memorial while also offering a sense of hope and reverence. When you hold this coin in your hand, it's easy to see how it's more than just a piece of currency. It's a piece of history, a tangible reminder of the courage and resilience of those who fought for a better world. When the coin was released, it was meant to circulate just like any other quarter, to be spent in daily transactions. And for a time, that's exactly what happened. Most of these coins ended up in wallets, in coin jars, or as part of the regular change in people's pockets. But as with many other coins in the America the Beautiful series, it didn't take long for collectors to notice that this one was different. The attention to detail in the design, the historical significance behind it, and the sheer beauty of the coin made it stand out in the eyes of numismatists. But what made this coin especially noteworthy in the collector world wasn't just the emotional impact of its design or its place in American history. There was something else, something a bit more subtle, but every bit as important to collectors, a very specific minting error that has elevated the value of the American Memorial Park quarter. In the early batches of these coins, a small number of them were struck with a rare flaw, a die crack that ran across part of the reverse design. While die cracks are not uncommon, this one was unique in that it appeared in a location where it was visible but didn't detract from the overall beauty of the design. This subtle error made the coin even more desirable to collectors, and soon the race was on to find one of these error coins. As with many minting errors, the rarity of the die crack made these coins a true treasure. Most of the American Memorial Park quarters are in pristine condition, but finding one with this particular flaw, and finding one in excellent condition, became a coveted pursuit. In the world of coin collecting, errors like these are significant because they offer something unique. In the case of this coin, the die crack didn't ruin the design, it enhanced it in a way, making each of these error coins individual works of art. The flaw gave each coin a touch of character, a reminder that even in perfection, there can be imperfection. The initial discovery of the die crack error made waves in the numismatic community. As word spread, collectors began to seek out these coins, and dealers quickly took notice. The value of the 2019 American Memorial Park quarter with this die crack began to rise steadily. In the early days, these coins could be found for a few $100s above their face value. But as collectors became more and more aware of the rarity of these error coins, the prices began to climb higher. When these coins began to make their way to professional grading services, the value increased even more. Coins that were graded as MS-67, a near-perfect grade, commanded top prices at auctions and dealer shops alike. For a coin that was originally meant to circulate like any other, the American Memorial Park quarter with the die crack error became a sought-after prize in the numismatic community. but what was even more astonishing was the highest auction prices that some of these coins fetched. As demand grew and supply remained scarce, the value of the 2019 American Memorial Park quarter soared. Some of the most well-preserved, high-grade examples of the die-crack era have reached an impressive value of $70,000, a staggering sum for a coin that, in most cases, is still spent in everyday transactions. The 2019 American Memorial Park quarter is a reminder that sometimes, the most valuable items are those that are overlooked by the masses. It's a coin that tells a story of history, sacrifice, and even a bit of serendipity. For collectors, it represents the thrill of discovery and the joy of finding something rare in the most unexpected places. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting coin reveal. Like this video if you're as fascinated by rare coins as we are, and comment below with your thoughts or any coins you'd like to see featured next. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more amazing coin discoveries.